We're the place you come to get, well, perfectly informed by digging into complex source materials.
That's right. And today, we're continuing our exploration of this really fascinating 12-module course, AI Prompting for Essay Success.
Last time we talked about the overall structure, the big picture. This course, it's trying to change how students prep for the SAT.
It really is. It's built on this idea that AI, tools like ChatGPT, aren't just for asking quick questions. They can be powerful tutoring partners if used strategically.
And that partnership, it's aiming for something pretty ambitious. The course mission statement puts it clearly. This 12-week course is designed to transform your SAT preparation from scattered practice into a systematic AI-powered mastery system.
Which sounds impressive already.
It does, and it continues. The goal is to build the confidence needed for a 100-200-point score boost.
And that 100 to 200 points, I mean, that can change a student's entire future, their college options. It's a huge deal.
Huge. But the course is clear you don't get there by luck or just, random practice. It takes a systematic approach.
Absolutely. And I think what's really smart about this course design is how it links the content mastery, the skills, with the psychological side, building confidence. They see both as equally important.
That makes sense. You can know the math, but freeze up under pressure.
Exactly. But before you can even think about boosting that score by 100 or 200 points, you absolutely have to know where you're starting from, like with pinpoint accuracy.
Which leads us right into today's focus. We're zeroing in on Module 2.
The foundation.
Right? It's titled Diagnostic Testing and Personalized Roadmap. And the objective is super specific. Use AI to pinpoint exact strengths and weaknesses and create a personalized study plan that targets knowledge gaps.
So this isn't just taking any old practice test.
Yeah, the course calls it the foundational mapping session. It's where you take that maybe intimidating initial score and turn it into a concrete action plan for the next, 2.5 months?
Precisely. This is the moment the student stops, spinning their wheels, studying things they already know pretty well.
Wasted effort.
Totally wasted effort.
Yeah.
And instead, they start investing their time where it really counts on their specific weaknesses, those knowledge gaps. It's about shifting from kind of inefficient guessing to targeted, data-driven learning.
Okay, let's really unpack that. The first part of Module 2 is this AI-driven diagnostic. The source material emphasizes this isn't just a regular practice test. Why? What makes it different?
Well, the key principle highlighted is the first step in any effective prep system is understanding your baseline.
Okay, standard enough.
But the way this baseline is established is what's different. Traditionally, SAT prep might start with a general review, right? Like, let's brush up on algebra, let's look at grammar rules.
Yeah, kind of a scattergun approach.
Exactly. Scattered is the word the course uses. This AI-driven diagnostic, though, its entire purpose is personalization.
And why is personalization so critical for something like the SAT? Why does it lead to more efficiency?
Because the SAT is, well, it's a high-pressure time test. Every minute counts. So imagine you have two students. Let's say they both get a 1200 on their first practice test.
Okay.
Student A is struggling with the reading and writing section. Maybe their pacing is off. Maybe they keep making grammar mistakes, but their math skills, rock solid.
Sure.
Student B is the opposite. Great on grammar, breezes through the reading and writing, but advanced algebra, data analysis, that's where they fall apart.
Right, so same score, different problems.
Exactly. Now, if both these students just grab a generic SAT prep book, student A is going to waste hours drilling math concepts they already know inside out, and student B is going to spend time reviewing grammar rules they've already mastered. It's incredibly inefficient.
So the diagnostic prevents that wasted time.
Precisely. It ensures that from day one, the study plan you create is laser-focused on your specific knowledge gaps. It's about finding those high-leverage activities, the things that will give you the biggest score boost for the time you put in, maximizing ROI on study time.
Makes sense. So to get this level of surgical precision, the course lays out some very specific practical application steps. The first one seems non-negotiable. Use the official Blue Book app from the College Board.
Yes, absolutely crucial.
Why that specific app? Why not, a practice test from a big-name test prep company or a book?
That really gets to the heart of the digital SAT. The Blue Book app is essential because it's the only tool that accurately simulates the text's adaptive nature.
Adaptive. Okay, let's break that down. What does adaptive mean in this context?
So, unlike the old paper SAT, or even some simpler digital tests, the digital SAT changes based on how you're doing during the test.
In real time.
In real time, section by section. Each main section, reading, writing, and math, is split into two parts they call them modules.
Okay. 2 modules per section.
Right. And how you perform on the first module directly determines the difficulty level of the questions you see in the second module of that same section.
Ah, okay. So if I do really well in the first math module.
The system recognizes that. It thinks, okay, the student knows their stuff, and it gives you the harder second math module.
And that's good.
That's where the highest scores are possible. That harder module has a higher scoring ceiling. But if you struggle significantly on that first module,
Then right.
the test adapts down. It gives you an easier second module with questions more focused on foundational or intermediate skills.
Which sounds helpful, maybe.
Yeah.
Less stressful.
It might feel less stressful in the moment, but here's the catch. That easier second module has a lower maximum potential score. Even if you get every single question right on that easier second module, you physically cannot achieve the top score range for that section.
Wow. Okay. So your performance on the first half basically sets a cap on your potential score for the whole section.
Exactly. It's a critical branching point. And this is why the Blue Book app is mandatory for this diagnostic. A non-adaptive test, whether it's paper or just a static digital one, can't replicate this branching.
So the data wouldn't be accurate for predicting performance on the real thing.
Precisely. You need to see how you perform under the pressure of that adaptive structure. Did you perform well enough on Module 1 to get bumped to the harder Module 2? Or did you get routed to the easier one? That information is vital for the AI analysis that comes next.
Right. If you use a non-adaptive test, the AI might get a skewed picture of your abilities, maybe overestimate your potential, or misjudge where your real weaknesses lie when faced with that adaptive pressure.
And then the whole personalized roadmap built on that faulty data becomes, well, useless.
Okay, that makes complete sense now why the course insists on Blue Book. And it also explains the time commitment they mentioned, 2 hours and 14 minutes, treated like the real test.
Yep, no distractions, time conditions. You need authentic data, garbage in, garbage out, especially when you're about to feed this data to an AI for deep analysis.
So the Blue Book test, done correctly, generates the raw material. The student gets their score, say, 1250.
The starting point. The sometimes tough reality check.
Right. And that brings us to the next major part of Module 2, the analysis. Like you said, the score is just the what. Now we need the why. This section is called AI-powered performance analysis moving beyond the score.
And this is where the AI tool, like ChatGPT, steps in and acts like that super tutor. A human tutor could do this analysis, but it might take them hours, maybe even days, to sift through all the data, categorize everything, spot the pattern.
The AI does it almost instantly.
Instantly, and potentially with more objectivity. The course highlights 3 main analytical jobs the AI performs here.
Okay, let's take them one by one. First up is the skill level breakdown. What does that involve?
So instead of just saying you struggled in math, the AI gets much more granular. It takes every question you answered, right or wrong, and maps it to the specific skills defined by the College Board.
Like the official category.
Exactly. So for math, it might break it down and say, okay, your performance in advanced algebra was strong, like 90% accuracy. But in problem solving and data analysis, you only got 45% right.
Ah, much more specific. What about an example for reading and writing? They mentioned craft and structure. What's that?
Good question. Craft and structure isn't just about understanding what the text says, but how the author says it and why. It involves analyzing rhetorical choices, the purpose of specific sentences or paragraphs, how transition words shape the argument, that kind of thing.
The more about the author's technique.
Precisely. So the AI might tell you, look, you're great at vocabulary and context questions, you understand the word meanings, but you consistently miss craft and structure questions. You're not analyzing the author's choices effectively.
That's incredibly useful. It stops you from just doing endless vocab drills if the real problem lies elsewhere.
Exactly. Targeted intervention.
Okay, the second analytical function, timing and pacing analysis. You mentioned timing is critical.
Huge on the digital SAT. It's fast. The AI looks at how much time you spent on each individual question. This is where it finds those hidden time traps.
Time sinks, the course calls them.
Right. Where did you lose time or rush through problems? The AI compares your time per question against the standard benchmarks.
Which are?
Roughly 1 minute and 11 seconds, 1.19 minutes for reading and writing questions, and about 1 minute and 35 seconds, 1.59 minutes for math questions.
Okay, so the AI flags questions where you went way over or way under that.
Exactly. It might highlight, say, a relatively straightforward algebra problem where you spent 4 minutes. Why? Maybe you panicked, maybe you second-guessed your answer, maybe you tried multiple approaches unnecessarily.
And what's the impact of that one slow question?
It has a domino effect. That extra time spent on one question might mean you had to rush the last 5 questions in that module. So maybe you missed 3 of those 5, not because you didn't know the material, but purely because you ran out of time or made silly mistakes due to rushing.
So the AI quantifies that inefficiency. It shows you how a pacing issue on one question impacts others.
Precisely. It helps you develop that internal clock and learn when it's strategically better to guess and move on rather than get bogged down.
Powerful stuff. Okay, and the third AI function sounds almost like detective work. Recurring error pattern recognition.
This is where the AI's ability to process huge amounts of data really shines. It's looking for hidden habits, cognitive glitches that repeat across different questions, things a student or even a human tutor reviewing the test might easily overlook.
So not just you missed question 17, but why you miss questions that share a certain characteristic.
Exactly. It's pattern matching on a massive scale. For example, the AI might identify something like every time a question involves subtracting a negative number in an algebraic equation, you make a sign error. Or you consistently choose the distractor answer that sounds plausible but actually contradicts the main point of the reading passage.
Wow, so it's identifying flawed thinking processes.
Yes. Or maybe it spots that you always misread questions containing the word except or least. You find the answer that is supported by the text, rather than the one that isn't, because you missed that crucial negative constraint.
Fixing that kind of recurring mental mistake seems like it would have a huge impact on the score.
Absolutely. It leads to systemic improvement, not just fixing isolated errors. That's key for making those big 100, 200-point jumps.
Okay, so the AI delivers this incredibly detailed analysis.
Yeah.
But getting that level of insight out of a general tool like ChatGPT requires, well, it requires telling it exactly what to do, right? The prompt has to be good.
Absolutely critical. Prompt engineering is a core skill this course teaches. You can't just paste your score report and ask what went wrong. You need to feed the AI the structured data from Blue Book question number, subject, your answer, correct answer, time spent, and then give it very specific instructions.
The course provides an example of a sophisticated prompt for this. It emphasizes the detail needed. I'll paraphrase the core elements. Act as an expert essay tutor. Provide a deep analysis. Pinpoint exact weak spots. Identify recurring error patterns. Analyze pacing based on the standard times. 1.19 min R&W, 1.59 min math.
Let's break down why that prompt works so well. It hits several key principles. First, the role. Act as an expert SAT tutor.
Right. The focus is the AI.
It tells the AI to use the language, concepts, and analytical frameworks of test prep, not just general knowledge. Second, the data context is implied. Here's my Blue Book performance data. Third, the specific constraints, giving it those exact average times per question, 1.19, 1.59.
That makes the pacing analysis objective, not just a guess.
Exactly. It forces the AI to use a professional benchmark. And fourth, the desired output format. Pinpoint weak spots, identify error patterns, analyze pacing. It tells the AI exactly what information to extract and present.
So without that specific role-based prompt, you'd just get a generic summary.
You would. This detailed prompt transforms the AI from a general knowledge engine into a specialized SAT analysis tool. It's the difference between asking a random person for directions and consulting a detailed map designed for hikers.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So the student runs a diagnostic, gets the raw data, uses a sophisticated prompt to get this deep AI analysis.
Yeah.
What's the final step in Module 2? You have the analysis. Now what?
Now you have to turn that analysis into an actual plan. This is the third core section, crafting your personalized AI-generated roadmap.
From diagnosis to action plan.
Exactly. The analysis is fascinating, but it's useless if it doesn't dictate what you do next. The course says this roadmap needs 3 key qualities: targeted and prioritized, adaptive and dynamic, and efficient.
Let's focus on targeted and prioritized. This seems directly linked to that 100, 200-point goal. How does the AI ensure the plan hits the most important areas first?
It goes back to that ROI concept, return on investment for study time. The roadmap must prioritize the student's weakest areas. Think of it like the 80-20 rule for SAT prep.
Find the 20% of topics causing 80% of the lost points.
Precisely. If the AI identified, say, linear equations and inequalities as a major weakness, and that topic appears frequently on the SAT, well, mastering that is going to yield far more points, far faster than spending the same amount of time on, say, a very niche geometry theorem that shows up once every 5 tests.
So tackle the biggest point drainers first.
Right. Focus on the foundational, high-frequency weak spots. The roadmap uses the diagnostic data to make sure you're not just studying randomly, but strategically attacking the areas that offer the biggest potential score gain. This gets built right into the prompts used to generate the plan.
Okay, so the course provides example prompts for building this roadmap. Let's look at the first one, which sets up the basic structure. It's called Example Prompt, Building the Plan.
This is the prompt that creates the academic skeleton of the study plan. It goes something like, based on the performance analysis you just provided, create a personalized 8-week study roadmap for me. Prioritize the top 3 weakest areas. For each week, suggest specific topics to study, the type of drills to use, for example, 20-min AI drills, and recommend 1 full-length practice test every 2 weeks to track progress.
That's quite detailed. It asks for weekly topics, prioritizes the weaknesses.
And crucially, it specifies the type of practice these 20-min AI drills, which subsequent modules will teach the student how to generate.
And it builds in those progress checks, the full-length tests every 2 weeks. That links back to the adaptive and dynamic quality, right? The plan isn't set in stone.
Exactly. You take another adaptive test, feed the new data back into the AI, and potentially tweak the roadmap based on your progress. It's a continuous feedback loop.
Okay, so that prompt creates the academic plan. But you mentioned the psychological element earlier, confidence, motivation.
Right, and Module 2 addresses this head-on, because let's be honest, getting that first diagnostic score back, especially if it's lower than expected, can be really demoralizing.
Yeah, it could make you want to just give up.
Totally. You might feel overwhelmed, anxious, like the mountain is too high to climb. That's often the biggest barrier, not lack of knowledge, but lack of motivation or belief. So the course introduces a second type of prompt, using a different AI persona.
This is the AI coach persona. Love this idea. It's shifting the AI's role.
It really is. It moves the AI from being just the expert tutor analyst to being a motivational partner. This prompt acknowledges the student's feelings and focuses on managing the psychological side of prep.
Let's hear that second prompt, the example prompt. Refining with AI coach persona.
This one sounds quite different. Act as a motivational SAT coach. Based on my diagnostic results, I'm feeling overwhelmed. Help me create a manageable study plan. Focus on building my confidence by starting with my near-mastery skills and then moving to my weakest areas. Suggest strategies to avoid burnout and stay motivated.
Okay, wait. That's interesting. The first prompt said prioritize the weakest areas first for maximum impact. This one says start with near-mastery skills to build confidence. That seems contradictory.
It seems contradictory, but it's actually very clever psychological scaffolding. Think about it. If you're feeling overwhelmed and anxious after a bad score, and your first week of study involves battling your absolute worst subject,
You might just feel defeated right away.
exactly, it could reinforce the feeling of, I can't do this. But if the AI coach suggests you start with skills, you're already, say, 75% or 80% proficient in your near mastery skills.
You get some quick wins.
Right. You build momentum, you experience success early on. It helps rebuild your confidence and establish positive study habits. Then, once you're feeling a bit more capable and motivated, you pivot to tackling those tougher, high-priority, weak areas identified by the first prompt.
So it's about managing the emotional journey of studying. Start with confidence builders, then transition to the heavy lifting.
Precisely. The AI coach helps you create a plan that feels manageable, suggests ways to avoid burnout, maybe incorporating breaks, varying study methods, and keeps you motivated over the long haul. It prevents the student from crashing and burning after 2 weeks.
So these two prompts work together then. The first one builds the core academic structure, what to study when, based on data and priority.
The mathematically optimal path, based on the analysis.
And the second prompt provides the psychological structure, how to approach the plan in a way that builds confidence, maintains motivation, and prevents overwhelm.
Tailored to your emotional starting point. So by the time a student finishes Module 2, they haven't just taken a test. They've transformed that single score into, as the course says, a powerful, personalized, and AI-driven roadmap tailored to your unique needs, both academic and emotional.
They know exactly what to study, in what order, how to practice effectively using AI drills, and how to stay motivated throughout the process.
It's a complete system blueprint ready for execution.
That is a massive transformation to achieve right at the start of the course, moving from that feeling of maybe being lost or practicing inefficiently
That scattered practice.
to having this incredibly precise, data-informed, and psychologically supported plan. It really sets the stage.
And it directly fuels the next steps. The roadmap created here in Module 2 isn't just a nice document. It's the instruction manual for Modules 3, 4, and 5.
How so?
Well, Module 3, for example, is Mastering the Math section with an AI coach. It teaches you how to use AI to generate unlimited, targeted practice problems specifically for those math weaknesses the Module 2 analysis pinpointed. If your roadmap says focus on quadratic equations this week, Module 3 shows you how to get an AI to drill you on exactly that.
And modules 4 and 5 do the same for reading and writing.
Exactly. Based on the craft and structure or pacing issues identified in your Module 2 analysis and built into your roadmap, Modules 4 and 5 teach you how to get AI to generate relevant practice passages and questions. The diagnostic and roadmap are the engine driving all the subsequent skill building.
It really is a system. Everything connects.
An AI-powered mastery system, as they call it. Module 2 lays that critical foundation.
All right, let's wrap up our deep dive into Module 2 with that final provocative thought for you, our listener. We've seen how powerful this diagnostic-first personalized roadmap approach is for something as specific as the SAT.
Applying data before jumping into solutions.
Exactly. So the question to reflect on is, how often in your own life, maybe your career, your personal projects, even learning a new skill, do you try to tackle a problem or reach a goal without first doing a real diagnostic, without using objective data to figure out what the actual core issue or weakness is?
It's easy to assume we know the problem. You might think, I need to be a better presenter, but maybe the real bottleneck, the thing costing you time and effectiveness, is actually how you organize your notes beforehand, which makes you seem flustered.
Right. Or you want to get promoted and you assume it's about, I don't know, networking more. But maybe a data-driven look at your performance reviews and project outcomes would show the real gap is in, say, technical documentation skills.
So the challenge is, can you take this Module 2 mindset diagnostic first, then a personalized, prioritized roadmap that also considers the how, the motivation, and apply it to something you're working on?
How can you gather some real data? Maybe it's tracking your time, getting specific feedback, analyzing past results to truly define the problem before you start trying to solve it. That feels like the ultimate takeaway from this foundational module.
A very practical and potentially transformative way to think about improvement, well beyond just test scores.
Indeed. Well, that brings us to the end of our exploration of Module 2. Thank you for joining us on the Deep Dive.
We look forward to unpacking the next module with you soon.